Hey, that's not allowed. Don't make me get the teacher on you.
Who the fuck are you, my mom? The fuck are you even still doing here? Go home, it's 3:40. Detention's over, dumb shit. Hey, fella? Right, Joey. How could I forget? We're, amigos, right? I was, but how do you know? Whatever, why not? You paid though. Bullshit, I was the one getting pizza. Fine, let's go then. So, Joey or whatever, you said you had a favor me or something? What do you need? Right. Sorry about what I called you. I totally didn't mean and all that jazz. If that's all you came here for, here's the apology. If you want to punch me, no thanks, because I'm more than likely gonna punch you back. What? Oh, right, I did mention that in the middle of a point.
What the fuck are you even doing over there?
Oh, well, you see, I'm doing this thing you'd call a slideshow commentary.
Slideshow? Okay, I don't see how this is a slideshow, but that's cool.
Well, you're a Tempest then. The motherfucker literally uses Microsoft slideshow shit.
But what about it? A reference point? Like, what? Why not watch other content like Doodle Tones or Aaron Tempest? Or heck, maybe you can even watch one of my videos. I literally just learned your name. Well, fine. What video? Okay, sure, I guess I'll give it a look and then I'll cover it right away. For the meanwhile, you can just gorge yourself on the pizza that isn't here yet. Where the fuck's the pizza? If this was anywhere else, it would have been here 10 minutes ago. Took you long enough. That sounds stupid. Not interested. Whatever, I'm just going to check out the video. Hear that, Joey? Never mind. Roll the disclaimer. And how about the intro too? Why not?
Let's make it better. Be different right now. It is your chance to get up and welcome a new day. And there's the real you. Facing you and I together. Everybody is right. Time to stand up for yourself and all things dear to you. Time to be a world changer. What are you waiting for? To turn around and get into old man that's stuck. You can become the change of people. This not be yourself. We are waiting for you.
Okay, so context. Back in 2019, some YouTuber named Shiokami did a video on Pentagon. That video was covered by Hypochromia, at the time known as Azriel 101 Upgraded. Since everybody else in this chain refers to them as Azriel though, I'll be doing the same just so you don't all get confused. Anyways, Azriel's video was covered by Clervals Master. This video was covered by Umbrus later on in a video where she compiled a bunch of quickies into one video. In Umbrus's video, she just covered the part where Key covers Azriel's intro skit, and that's the reason Shiokami's video just doesn't even fucking matter. Anyways, Keyblade then went on to cover that video's portion on him, then Umbrus covered Keyblade Master's video on her. Finally, that leaves us with the part of the chain where Pepper covered her, and I guess that leaves me at the top of this degree chain because I'll be covering that. Here are the degrees, essentially a game of who's who on this little hell of a video. Anyways, with all of that being said, now we can begin.
Oh my god, where am I? Oh, theater! Kinda makes you wonder what I'm gonna talk about, eh? So, wonder why I'm here. I wonder why there's a vanilla faggot who looks like an exact doppelganger of me. Many things I wonder. How to do a commentary, Asriel! Wait, what are you talking about? Have you looked at your upload schedule? The only thing that you posted in an entire fucking month is just 2 live streams. But why do I have to do commentaries again? Stop your theory drama. Get off of my screen now, you satanic unholy being that of pure destruction. Fighting! Wait, reverse Asriel. What are you doing here? Flag on Sunny. Wait, what? No, I can explain.
Oh, you better explain what's going on here, Flygon, because right now I'm looking at all this and screaming, what the actual shit is going on? Like, holy crap, where do I begin with describing how much of a fever dream this entire intro skit is? For starters, why exactly are you in a theater? Like, I get it's because of yourself, I mean, totally different person, Flygon. We'll talk about their issues later. Forcing you to post a commentary on your channel, but like, why a theater exactly? Because it's not like the setting ties into the video you're covering. No, you're all just out of theater because Winnie the Pooh sent you here or something.
Am I the only one who finds this complaint to be really petty? Like, if you think about it, the theater does work since you can't imagine Azriel watching the video within the theater.
You know, this point would be pretty solid if it weren't for one insignificant detail. Azriel herself brings attention to the setting within her intro skit, so it wouldn't exactly be petty of me to question why Azriel's at the location if she herself fails to inform the audience on why she's at the current location.
But Key, you failed to notice how Azriel herself questioned why she was in the theater in the first place.
Oh, a theater! Kinda makes me wonder what I'm gonna talk about, eh? So, wonder why I'm here.
So yeah, it is petty for you to mention this because it's unimportant that doesn't affect Azriel's intro skit overall.
But in the part you played, Azriel said kinda makes you wonder what I'm going to talk about, and the fact that Flygon never said why she is at the theater.
Ugh, good god. With all this context piled up onto each other, I have to admit, by the time we hit Pepper's degree, I really felt like my brain was on fire. Honestly, I'm about as lost as I would be if I was watching Evangelion, but that aside, let me try and sort out what's happening and then explain to Pepper why their point just doesn't work. Okay. Azriel's intro skit has them finding themselves in a theater, but is never outright elaborated for what purpose this theater has other than being the location of the commentary. Key questions the location, whereas Umbrus found the complaint petty. Key argues that since Azriel brings attention to the intro skit, it isn't petty at all since she never informed the audience why that's the location of choice. Umbrus then tries to assert that the intro skit taking place in a theater is nothing more than a funny meme that isn't supposed to be looked into. Pepper, your point wouldn't really change that fact because what Azriel said, makes you wonder what I'm going to talk about, could but shouldn't inherently imply that it's not supposed to be serious. That's kind of a jumping conclusion there because somebody could just as easily say the exact same thing if it was meant to be a funny, memey, not being taken seriously intro skit.
Here's a voice point.
Okay, but before I let you finish, why is this labeled with a content warning? I understand putting up content warnings for quite a bit of stuff, but one for an unscripted point is a bit weird. Maybe rambly audio I could sort of get, but putting it up for just unscripted point, it just kind of feels a little weird and it doesn't seem like something you need to put up a content warning for.
So, here's I didn't really explain, like, why the fuck this is so important. So, here's why. Like, what you didn't understand is that, like, her first, emotion when she saw that she was at a theater, she was like, oh, hey, this kind of makes you wonder what I'm gonna talk about. Like, trying to basically say, like, foreshadow, like, the topic, which wasn't good, but for some odd reason it was, which...
Actually, I have absolutely no idea what's going on anymore. Particularly saying it wasn't good. Like, what wasn't good? What she did? How she did it? I mean, if it was only one of those two, I could sort of see, but then you swing right back around and say, for some odd reason it was. So which is it? Was it good or was it not good? And then when you put this into the context of what you said earlier and what that probably meant, I'm asking even more questions somehow. If you meant what she did wasn't good, then how is it all of a sudden good? If how she did it wasn't good, how is it good all of a sudden?
Also, for your hypothetical in your Requiem commentary you bring up, it doesn't work because Azrael had a part in the skit that says this. So this means that she did watch the video before doing a commentary on it. And this part right here also destroys your argument.
Can I use choo-choo? No. But why? Because you can't have nice things. I hate- oh, the commentary's gonna start, okay.
After she says that line, she gives out context as to what she is talking about. It doesn't immediately play after she said that line.
Okay, so from what I'm getting from this point, Umbrus's point about how you can imagine Azrael watching the commentary in the theater doesn't work because 1, she watches the video first off-screen as implied by the text, and 2, she gives out context after she's done threatening herself, which, okay, in the case of the last one, I genuinely do not understand what the implication is, but I assume it's working off of the implications of the first point, which would ultimately be you saying that because Azrael had watched the video in the theater off-screen and then did it again on-screen for the commentary, Umbrus's idea that Azrael's watching the commentary in the theater doesn't work. I assume because when you go to theaters to watch a movie, it only plays once, which is wrong by the way, but I'm just saying that for the sake of it. Okay, at this rate, I've got to point this out. This video is confusing, has moments where it feels like nothing is happening for up to a minute, and now it's just starting to make no fucking sense. Look, point is, Pepper, this is not a good point, because that ignores a few possibilities. Pepper, movies at the movie theaters, well, you know, you go to see one showing, there's always a showing before and after that, most of the time, I'm pretty sure. So possibly Azrael could have seen the first showing off screen, then waited for the second one a while later, which could be the one we're seeing in the commentary. Or maybe it's possible that Azrael's other self has control over what is seen at the theater, so she could have just shown her the video and then shown it to her again right after she was done off screen. Like, it's never established if that's the case, but to the very least, that possibility is up in the air. Look, I feel like you're writing off Umbrus's point here for really weak reasoning.
Hell, your idea about her watching the video at the theater would have been a great way for her to incorporate the setting into the commentary, but she never does anything like that within her video, instead opting to kill a bunch of strangers. Which makes me realize, how did Azrael not get kicked out of the theater for loudly murdering a bunch of people? Since last time I checked, but being loud isn't something that's tolerated in a theater.
My first issue with this point is that you are trying to apply real-world logic to a situation that is purely fictional, and is more than likely nonsensical for the sake of comedy, which is ironic coming from you because you're known for basically the same thing. I have no idea why you felt the need to point this out since it's, again, really petty.
Also, being loud in a theater isn't tolerated, but murdering is? That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Since murder in tone is a way bigger crime than simply being loud in a movie theater.
That was a joke. That was never meant to be taken seriously.
Now, before some fucker in the comment section says, but the delivery was poor, lol, but Key said, which made me realize, which can indicate that it was a joke, and is not trying to argue Umbrus at all.
Yeah, but that phrase can also indicate it's serious just as much as it does it's a joke. Like, I could say this point is stupid, which made me realize this video is stupid too, and still be serious. It will be at times like this where we could rely on Key's tone and delivery, but Key's delivery is surprisingly serious for something you just want to write off as nothing more than a joke. In fact, he sounds more serious about this than he would about why he thinks Kanzaki is good, and I think that's either a really good sign that he's serious here, or Kanzaki isn't a good waifu. Look, point is, this doesn't inherently indicate that Key is joking, and Key's delivery, despite you acting like it wasn't the guarantee for that, clearly reflected that.
Also, the tone and delivery doesn't always indicate whether or not it is a joke. You should also pay attention to what they're saying. With Key, he is saying something that isn't debunking Umbrus. It's not trying to debunk Umbrus, and it's not even related to the discussion, nor is it trying to. These things can make it seem like it was a joke, removing the whole tone thing.
Except just like last time, everything you pointed to that could help make the case of this being a joke could also just as easily help make the case of this being serious. Because while sure this doesn't add to the debate in regards to whatever Umbrus was saying, he could have been pointing out a thing against Azriel that he didn't think to bring up in his initial video against Azriel, thus making this a serious point. And again, with all of this in mind, the best indication would end up being Key's tone of voice, because every other indicator you chose to point to can end up going both ways. All in all, what I'm getting from this and the last point is that it could be a joke, because this could indicate that this may not mean to be taken seriously, but it's all ignoring every little detail that adds up to this sounding more serious than it is a joke.
And then he says move, she says no, he says move, she says no, bitch move.
Sup, I'm Mr. Skip Card that's here in Pepper's video for no reason and honestly kind of serves no purpose. How's your day? Yeah, me too. Just do your job again. This has been stressful for all of us.
Who do you think you are?
Ichigo!
Ichigo? More like itchy. Ho! Get the fuck out of my face before I smack the blue right out of your discount rem haircut!
And going into the production side of these characters, it's probably not the best idea to have characters that sound exactly like you. Like, I'm willing to give reverse Azriel a pass since there's a bit of an audio effect in place to establish some difference from you, but Flygon, no distinction at all. Just making this all come off as you talking to yourself, which would actually make for a somewhat decent psychological thriller in the hands of a competent writer. Now sure, you could just chalk this up to me looking too deep into an intro skit, but if your skit has me asking all—
Man, I sure wish I could hear the audio so I'll know what's happening in the next interjection, but I guess I'll have to go somewhere else to figure that out.
And going into the production side of these characters, it's probably not the best idea to have characters that sound exactly like you. Like, I'm willing to give reverse Azriel a pass since there's a bit of an audio effect in place to establish some difference from you, but Flygon, no distinction at all. Just making this all come off as you talking to yourself, which would actually make for a somewhat decent psychological thriller in the hands of a competent writer. Now sure, you could just chalk this up to me looking too deep into an intro skit, but if your skit has me asking all these questions before you even start the commentary, then that's not giving me a good sign for things to come.
Alright, so while on paper I understand the point about Flygon's voice being practically the same as Azriel, I don't think that's inherently an issue. If I were to list a few examples, Samurai Break, shares the same voice actor, the Mario Brothers, Unlike Warrior Brothers, share the same voice actor, Jump Hero Polar Rush and Risotto share the same voice actor, and I could go on and on about characters in the same show, movie, or game with the same voice actor. My point is that with characters like Jump Hero Polar Rush and Risotto, they're essentially talking to themselves when they interact with each other.
I think you're missing the point of what I was trying to say, as I wasn't saying it's a problem for some of the voice two characters that are talking to one another. I was more so pointing out how Flygon and Azriel have the exact same voice as one another, which in all of your examples isn't an issue, considering that despite those characters being voiced by the same voice actor, they all have some differentiation to distinguish themselves from one another, such as Luigi having a much higher pitch than Mario, and Mario having a much lower pitch from Waluigi. So when these characters are in the same area as one another, then them talking to each other sounds like two different people having a conversation, instead of one guy just talking to himself.
Well then, I guess this just proves my previous point, since I question why you kept your previous interjection in, since when you cut back I say something that completely destroys your argument.
Your next point is just you saying that you failed to see the issue with Key's point. How the fuck does that debunk Key in any way?
Pepper, I think you heard all of this wrong, because Umbrus is referring to her point in her previous video where she stated that Azriel could do better by having their characters have ways to differentiate their voices, which just prior to that interjection, Key called out Umbrus in her video before that for seemingly not noticing that issue and misunderstanding Key's argument that Azriel's characters all having the same voices was an issue, pointing out various characters with the same voice actor, but not realizing that while they all had variations in their performances, Azriel doesn't, until Umbrus suddenly does know. Basically, the point is, Umbrus thinks that the fact that she knows Azriel could have done better to differentiate her characters' voices eliminates Key's issue with her video, because Key initially, keyword being initially by the way, argues against the fact that Umbrus seems to not know that. Of course, all of this ignores the fact that Umbrus is absolutely missing the point of why Key was doing that, but this shit's complicated enough to explain as is. Just watch Luxor's video or whatever, please. So, with all of that being said and done, I'm ending the video here. Final thoughts begins now. Pepper, this video— wait, it's unlist. I think I just wasted everybody's time. Well, you know what, honestly, I'm not sure what to say about this video aside from the obvious, which is that I really felt like you didn't pay as much attention as you should have here. I understand that this whole degree chain is large as hell and confusing as fuck, but still, some more time to think everything in this over couldn't have hurt. I guess that's all I've gotta say, so, you know, that's it. Final thoughts over. Alright, Joey, how was it? Any takeaways? You don't even have material. Yeah, good luck, Joey. Yeah, see you, or whatever. Alright, now that that's done and over with, I can finally go home. Wait, wasn't Joey supposed to— oh, that motherfucker!